right.
All right, we're back for another Shop Class podcast. Yeah. Tonight, we've got a super special guest. It's like every shop teacher's dream. Who do you want to be when you grow up? You want to be Peter Wachtel. He is a product designer and a shop teacher. It's like the both of both worlds. Turns out we went to the same college and we know some of the same people. And he's a Harbor Freight Tools for School winner. And so we brought in some of the people here tonight to talk with him. He knows a lot of the same people in the Shop Class podcast community. We're so excited. Peter, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Ron. Thanks for having me. Hopefully it's not when you grow up. Hopefully I don't feel like I'm that old. So, but yeah, we know a lot of the same people, like the Harbor Freight people and Pratt people. So it's good to connect with everybody again. And Matt's on here, so that's awesome. And I got to meet a couple new people like Peter. So amazing. So thank you for having me. And hopefully I could share some information that will be useful.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's huge. I've got so many questions about your program, and we got a whole bunch of things we could share with people. I mean, if you're a shop teacher, I think it's just such an exciting position because there's so much flexibility. You basically write your own curriculum and you get to come up with ideas and you can do cool stuff with the kids, and it's great. So we're going to get into all that. I think if you're even this episode might be the ultimate episode. If you were thinking of being a shop teacher, this might be the episode that pulls you in. And we're going to show people what is possible to do in an American high school or even our North American high school, where you can do such cool projects and lots of them. How do you do stuff like this? How do you become prolific in a high school? You know, we also got a round table here of amazing people. So we got Matthew Barbercheck is in the house.
Yeah.
How you doing, Matt?
Good. How are you, man?
All right. Matt is, if people don't realize, he is the person who started the podcast with me going on maybe 5 years ago. I'm not sure.
I know, it's so crazy how long ago that was.
That's amazing. And we've literally started with just these like themed phone calls that we recorded on Anchor. And now, you know, we're getting into God, I don't know how many years, I guess 5 years. And we're on Spotify and we're on YouTube. And it's great to have Matt back for this episode. I'm really glad you're here.
Thanks, man. It's good to be here.
Nice. And we also have someone driving in their car right now. We have a regular. Well, you'll just say hi for a second. I muted you because it was, when you come back, you'll say hi. But anyway, Peter Molinar. I've been saying Molinaire. I've been the wrong way the whole time. Anyway, he's here. And
it's good. I'll be back in a while.
Okay. All right. You know, Peter's been great. Peter's been on an advisory committee for my students, which is pretty cool. And we also have a special guest. I love when he comes in here. We got Mark Adams. Oh, he just popped out somehow. Oh, there he is. There he is. He moved over a square. Anyway, Mark, how you doing? Oh, you got to unmute yourself. And I'll just tell people, there you go.
I'm good. Good.
Nice. And Mark is a photographer, motorcycle rider extraordinaire. He does amazing black and white photography. Such a cool thing. Glad you're here. It's awesome. And he was here on the last episode too, when we talked to some bicycle frame manufacturers from Richmond, California. Pretty cool. So anyway, yeah. So we got Peter in the house. And Peter's working on some incredible stuff. So the way we found Peter, which is the interesting part, is I went to Pratt for product design. And Peter, what year did you graduate from Pratt there?
No, I'm just kidding. 1992. Yeah.
92. All right.
I got my master's in industrial design there. Yeah. It was a great time.
Nice. And we had a professor on here a couple weeks ago, and that was Bruce Hanna. And he's a furniture designer, basically a shop teacher in a way. And he had so much energy, and he was like, hey, you got to talk to this person. And he put me in touch with all these people. And he's like, you got to have them on. I was like, okay. And then it turns out you know all the shop teachers anyway, you know. So cool. Yeah. So let me set the premise here. So you're a product designer that also teaches shop class. And so before we get to the question of the night, can you just give us a little bit about your background in product design and then how you made a transition? I think that would be a good starting point.
Yes, that would be good. No, thanks, Ron. And I have to ask Mark, you know, if he's a really good black and white photographer, maybe his mom or dad's name was Ansel Adams.
No, not at all.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, that's good. But yeah, I mean, basically it all started, like I could go back to like when I was 12 years old. I'm very curious about things and not much fear either about things. So it started when I took my dad's lawnmower apart and made a go-kart out of it. And I think I still get crap for that to this day. But I went into high school, didn't do that great in high school, but I pulled together my junior and senior years. But I was really good at designing things and drawing things. So I had a wild imagination. And I applied to colleges, and I ended up going to the Columbus College of Art and Design, and then on the Pratt Institute, where I got my master's in industrial design. But what I did is I tried to take everything to the next level. And what I did was basically, like if we had to design products, I asked if I could make them into toys because it fit my personality and everything else like that. And so during my graduate work at Pratt, I did my thesis show at FAO Schwartz. I worked there. And then I went on to like Toy Biz, Marvel Comics, Tyco, Six Flags, and designing everything from roller coasters to toys to products, and then started inventing. So I got a lot of experience that way. And basically in a roundabout way, just for the fun of it, because I'm always curious and I have way too much energy, I started teaching. I started teaching at Pratt, Parsons, Otis, Art Center, MIT, and then the Art Institute of California. And moved to California about a while back, and met my wife, got married, had kids, all that good stuff. But as you get older, you know, you don't want to commute into LA. Commuting to LA is really terrible. But I said, what could I do around here that would be fun and exciting and give back, you know, to the community and kids? And I just emailed the school, the Adolfo Camarillo High School where I teach at now, and said, hey, I'd love to come and talk about design, toys, everything to the kids. And it took about 3 months to get back, and they asked, hey, would you like to be an architect teacher and like a woodshop teacher? And I sort of gave it some hem and haw and stuff like that. And at the time, the salary was like $50,000, but I said, I'll let me look into this. So I went in for the interview. I brought in all my toys and things that you'll see later on. And they said, oh, we definitely want that, not like the traditional thing. I said, that's good because things change really rapidly and we want to show these to the kids. But the end of the story is basically, yeah, they hired me, got my credential. What's nice to know is that teachers in California and across the world, CTE teachers especially, my salary tripled. So it was great in 7 years. But I get to design, develop toys, products, architecture with these students. But then I use all my contacts at like Universal, Mattel, Six Flags, and we design products for them, and they give us feedback. So
wait, this is too good. This is too good. we got to go back a step.
All right.
Yeah, because I want to know more really high detail about how your students are designing products and how you're able to sell these products and whatnot through the school and come up with companies and whatnot. But before we get to that, we got to ask you the question of the night.
Oh, the question of the night. Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is the big question. And it's such a big question. I've been working out. I don't know if I can handle it. I'm not sure. I got barber checks tougher than me. So we got to.
I went to the gym today. I'm good.
Oh, there you go.
I'm ready.
We got to get barber check to do the heavy lifting tonight. Usually it's Duke. But yeah. All right. Barber check. Hit him with the question of the night.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's on the logo, I think.
Yes.
Did you shop class?
Did I watch shop class?
Do it again because I interrupted him. Do it again.
Okay. Did you have shop class?
Growing up, like, did you go as a kid?
So yes and no. So in junior high, I did have a metal shop class, and we made Chinese throwing stars and threw them into the ceiling. But we made like little boxes and everything like that, and it was okay. But in high school, no. But I always, when I went to Pratt and CCD, their wood shop, I thought there could be so much more to that. But I would say, yeah, I had shop class.
Nice. The ironic part is I didn't have shop class growing up. I used to visit junkyards and whatnot, and that was my shop class, you know. So we always ask that because someone always has some story. You were taking apart lawnmowers. I was doing that stuff. That's the great beginning.
Yeah.
You got any lawnmower stories for us? How you learned how to do that?
I just made it up as it went. Like I saw a kid had a go-kart and he showed me like how it worked. So basically took it apart, reversed the blade for the chain and the wheel. And there you go. And then my dad just like, oh my God, he was pretty mad. So I had to put it back together again, of course, but it worked. I would take my bike apart, repaint it, put new stuff on it. It was pretty awesome. I still do things like that today. It's kind of fun.
Nice. Oh, Duke's in the house. There you go.
Look at that.
Nice. Ah, the kid. There you go.
What's going on?
Where's the mohawk?
I'm getting back in at the end of the school year.
Nice.
He takes off in the winter. Says it gets too cold.
Oh, okay.
You gotta set him up there with barber check. So what real cold is like.
Dude, I was north over the weekend. I was in Stowe, Vermont, and man, that's close to the Canadian border, dude. It was cold. It was like 10 degrees at night.
You don't know what cold it is. It's up there. I grew up in Buffalo for like 20 whatever years. I know how cold it gets.
Oh yeah. Mark's got a question. Go for it.
Hey, so are you still teaching at Art Center?
No, I am not.
What years were you there?
I was there in 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I went there in 96, 97.
Okay. Yeah, it was basically I would teach 2 classes there, and then I do my freelance and stuff like that. But I was working at the time at Jack's Pacific in Malibu, so
I'm actually familiar with Jack's and Mattel. I was worked at Mattel for a number of years.
Nice. So we probably know a lot of the same people. And then I'd work and go to Art Center. Yeah. So
were you working directly with like boys, or did you do any of the girl stuff?
Yeah, with the boys and some girls too.
Oh, okay. Any licensing or no?
A little bit. Yeah, a lot of the people that I knew then are either left. Steve,
during the seasonal layoffs.
Yeah, it's always layoffs, and I always wonder. It's like you lay them off, and then a couple months later you hire a bunch of people. So can you rehire the people that you already had?
Right, or they freelance for you. So
yeah, so I did a lot of freelancing stuff, but Peter Santa I worked with, and Dominic Lorenzo, and a few others. Jeremy Howard.
What is Jack's Pacific? I don't know what this is.
The toy company.
Oh,
they do Bratz toys.
Yeah. Well, no, they don't do Bratz toys.
No, they didn't do. They did the wrestling ones. What was that?
Yeah, WWE, WWF. Yeah.
Yeah.
MGA did the Bratz. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no kidding. I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was cool. It was fun. But when you work at a corporate place, your jobs, you never know what's going to happen.
Right. And marketing's always going to get in the way.
It does. It does. But I love what I learned. I wouldn't trade it to everything. Every failure I've ever had, I learned from as well. And a lot of people say, do you have any regrets? I'm like, no. If I didn't fail or something didn't go wrong, I wouldn't have learned or grown or anything.
Right.
How does marketing get in the way without giving like a specific in general? What happens?
Well, I guess it's sort of like their whole reason for being is finding people to buy products to make the most amount of money. And design's purpose is then to design or invent or create something new that people really want, and maybe create some sort of intellectual property or line. And where the conflict comes in is that whether or not designers know better or marketing knows better, that's where the fight comes, because there'll be marketing people that really have no experience yet, or maybe a lot, and then designers, you're back and forth with them. And it comes into a fight like, no, this shouldn't be like this because of that, and this. And then marketing's like, no, this is because of that, and that. And at the end of the day, marketing wins because they're the ones that actually market the toy. And they have their ear right to the president. So that's usually what happens.
Got it. Got it. Interesting. And what kind of, now you were doing product design. What kind of products? Could you give us some highlights of
Oh yeah, all kinds of things. Like I
All right.
started off at like Marvel and Toy Biz designing Spider-Man and X-Men action figures, Hot Wheels, Matchbox cars, play sets,
Hot Wheels?
all that kinds of stuff.
No way. That's cool.
It's just, I mean, it was like a dream job. I mean, when I started at FAO Schwartz after grad school, I'm like, that's it. This is the way it's going to be for me, because everything I do will be about toys. And I love toys. I love movies. I love Spider-Man and Superman. It was awesome. And then the other thing I loved was theme parks. So literally I went to Six Flags all the time in New Jersey, right?
Right.
And one day I just walked in and said, I want to work here. And they're like, yeah. And so what can you offer? And I said, basically in a roundabout ways that, because they were looking for a design manager for the park for their architecture, landscaping, and theming. I said, basically what you have here is big toys, and I'd love to do that. You have Batman, DC Comics, and all that good stuff. So, and that worked great. So I helped design the Viper and Batman rides, and it was awesome. I mean, you didn't even need a cup of coffee in the morning. You get to ride Batman numerous times, as much as you want, with no one in the park. It was just amazing.
That's awesome.
It's like a kid's dream come true. It was awesome.
Wow. Now, completely naive question. When you say you walked in literally to the location, the same place that the patrons go, like people who are going to ride? Okay.
So basically I did see an ad in the paper. So I'll give you a little bit of that they were looking for a design development manager. And of course I applied to it, but interestingly enough, I was actually going to Six Flags that weekend, and I ran into the park manager, and I didn't know it was the park manager. I said, hey, I just applied for this job, da-da-da. And he goes, really? And he goes, tell me a little about yourself, da-da-da. And he showed me around the park. He goes, what would you do here? What'd you do here? What would you do here? What'd you do here? And it was great, and went for the interview and nailed it. It was amazing.
Wow.
So
that's kind of cool.
That was fun. But you get to learn so much stuff out of that, and I love the experience of that.
Now, how much does a designer like what you're talking about have to know about engineering, let's say, or manufacturing? How far do you go into that?
So that's a great question, and here's the simple answer. If you worked at a product design company or a toy company or a theme park, there's multiple departments within those companies, right? So for instance, if you design or invent a product, it doesn't mean all the engineering has to be worked out. There is an engineering department. So the way Six Flags or other theme parks work is that, believe it or not, there is probably a 5 to 10 mile area in Kansas and North Carolina that have anywhere between 50 and 100 roller coasters and things all set up already. What park presidents do is they visit. They say, that's the one I want. They buy it, obviously, and then they ship it to the park. And what the park designers do is theme it. So we'll get the base roller coaster, but then we have to say, what is it going to be called? Batman. Okay. Then we have to work with DC Comics, everything, get the logos right, get all that right, color it, theme it, logo it, make the Bat Cave, all the things like that, the wayfinding signs, the waiting for the line sign, all the theming for the cups, the logos, the graphics, T-shirts, and all that stuff like that. So the engineering part, not so much, because they're already been engineered. So that's a great question, though.
Okay.
So we're theming it, basically.
Interesting. Okay, that's pretty cool. And like dealing with the experience of what
Exactly,
customer
like
deals
coming
with.
up with what will it look like, what kind of props are there, what's the colors going to be, like what kind of fun things can pop out at you, all that good stuff. So it was amazing.
Nice. That's pretty cool. And how much of this would you? Okay, so at Pratt, they had to do a lot of drawing and a lot of prototyping. And how much of that did you use? Was it your pen strokes, or did you figure out how to be kind of a art director? How do you go about like designing something so bigger than one little product, like a whole park?
Yeah,
that's incredible.
That's a good idea. So what I learned early on is I learned how to do a lot of everything. draw, sketch, color, render, think, be creative, plan, the whole 9 yards. And through my evolution through toy companies, product companies, what have you, I grew into different roles, creative director and stuff like that. But I would still come up with the initial concepts, be able to draw them, sketch them, prototype them, build them, walk them through anything that needs to be done. Because I really am everlasting, like, curiosity. It is never going to end. And so just like with any of you, if you buy a new motorcycle or something, you get into that motorcycle, you learn how the gears work, how everything works. Like I used to have a Ducati Monster motorcycle, and I learned everything that I could possibly learn about it. So the same with the theme parks and the toys, so that when I had my own team, I knew who to pick, who would be good for packaging, who would be good for that. But I could do any step on a project that needed to be done. So I just immersed myself in everything possible to do that. So it was amazing.
That's pretty cool.
So do you have a bike now still?
I don't. I sold it because when you're single, that motorcycle is awesome, right? And I live in California, right?
Yep.
And I'm going by the beach, and you're like, woo, brr, brr. And any other motorcycle other than certain ones that pull up next to you, it's just you laugh at them because the Ducati will just smoke it. But then I got married, and I still would ride it, you know, on weekends and maybe Friday to work, you know, take it to Malibu. And then you get kids, and then you're like, maybe I take it to the park or, like, you know, their swing sets and stuff. And then you're like, geez. And then it just sits there. And I'm like, ah, man. So we sold it, we got a camper, and I still have the M1 on my license, and I'll ride again. But I don't have time because I want to be with my kids and my wife and my dog and my family, and we went camping. But I like them. I think they're really cool. And the reason why I went with the Ducati other than other motorcycles is that when I was at Pratt, one of my roommates, who was one of those gentleman horse riders, you know, in Central Park, he had a Ducati, and he used to ride it even in the snow to Central Park to ride the horses around. So it just stuck with me in my head, and I liked it ever since then. But I never fell, never crashed, never tipped it over. I had it for about 6 years. And yeah, it was fun.
Which year do you have?
I had a 2004, and I kept it in 2010. But it was fun, and I just got a simple one. It was like $7,500 brand new, and then put carbon fiber on it. It made it look really nice, and I loved it. It was really fun. But then it just, you know, just didn't have time. Yeah, but one day.
Did you ever think about getting into bike design at all?
A little bit, but it's sort of like when I was going through my graduate work and undergraduate work in industrial design. Yeah, there it is, 2004 Ducati Monster, and then, whew, crazy. But I love it because it was a hybrid. It was called a Monster because they took like 3 different parts of bikes, stuck them together. So it had like the 999 frame and different parts of this, and I love the 999, but that's way too fast for me. But what I realized is that I didn't want to design, like, I have a lot of good friends that design things for Ford, BMW, like they're top designers. But I don't want to design something that takes years to make and then see possibly anyone dying or getting hurt in my product. So I design toys. So I design toy motorcycles, right? So no one's going to get hurt. I could get it done in 6 months, and I can buy it. It's on my shelf behind me. It's all good. And there's my helmet with little monster teeth sticking out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the reasons I went to toys, because when I interned in 1992 with a toy designer, his name was Jesse Horowitz. He worked on Cabbage Patch dolls and all these things at the beginning of the and he was like a 6-degree black belt and all that. That's why I got my black belt in karate too. But he said that when he worked at Ford and GM, it took forever to get a car out. And there was one person that designed just the logos, one person designed just the hubcaps, one person designed just the exhaust, one person just does the taillight. I'm like, so if you design a toy, you got the whole thing. So that's another reason I just went with the toys.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I said that you did some work at Hot Wheels. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, basically working on like different track sets, vehicles, what they could be. what could they look like, how do they compare and relate to the other Hot Wheels that have been around for like 50 years, Matchbox cars, all that kind of cool stuff. So it was neat. And we would get like scaled down versions of cars that exist and then use those as graphics and basically just go crazy with graphics. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
That is cool. Oh, this is awesome. I'm going down the rabbit hole here.
It is. It's the rabbit hole. Look at all this stuff.
Wow.
It's this crazy stuff. And I know a lot of those guys, like Elliot, I know, and it's amazing. I still know some people there. And it's funny is when I taught at Otis, a lot of those students that I taught in their first and second year, graduating from Otis Toy Design program, they now are at Mattel as like their directors and VPs and stuff like that. So it's like the world just goes a complete 360.
Whoa.
So it's
These are
amazing.
So cool. I still will pick up some Hot Wheels and put it on my desk and just draw it. I got some bunch of stuff here. The kids,
cool.
the kids gave me stuff the other day. That was so cool. I mean, these are like, it's so awesome because, you don't have time to own and restore all these cars. So if you just want to like, I know it sounds funny as an adult, but if just
that is a car. You can get.
Dude, I just picked up two myself. We're shopping in my friend had, my kid had his friend over. They're shopping in the grocery store. Of course, they're picking up every kind of snack you can throw in. We're checking out. I'm like, what the heck is it? We each got two Matchbox cars.
Nice.
But how cool are they? Just to open up the package, look at them.
So awesome.
Yeah, I mean, now I have a Dodge Challenger, so I had to get a Dodge Challenger Hot Wheel too, and then I had to hand paint and stuff. But one thing that's really cool with all these things that I've done is I share them with my students in that shop class, because in my shop class, this is the cool thing. Like if you're in high school, you have Math 1 or Math 2 or English 1 or English 2, and they're all the same. Basically, look at that. That's an awesome car. The Challenger. Look at that. That's awesome. That is awesome. But what's cool about it is I share these experiences with them because I'll have students with a GPA of like a 1 all the way up to a 4.9. I'll have boys and girls, cheerleaders, football players, Raider Nation kids, 26 valedictorians, and you don't know what they're going to be or do. So I try to teach not just skilled trades, but what it could be if you took skilled trades and put them on steroids. So you could, like, what I tell them is watch a movie, any movie. All those end credits are jobs. So you could be a limo driver, you could be a prop designer, you could be a painter, you could be, the director, you could create the AI for the backgrounds, you could create the CGI for the backgrounds, you could be a toy designer, product designer, furniture designer, car designer, interior designer, theme park designer, and it just goes on and on and on. So there's something in my classroom for every student, whether they're boy, girl, whatever age, and they're all together and they see all this stuff. And then I'll take it to the next step and say, hey, BMW or Ford or Harbor Freight Tools for Schools or Santa Barbara Zoo or whatever, I want to design a project with you, with these students, even IKEA, and then give you have those companies give feedback back to the students. And then when they can see it in real life, what it's like, and they don't make them, the products. But like, for instance, we did it with Universal Studios. I knew a bunch of people at Universal Studios, and we designed like the new Harry Potter themed promo cup, the cups that cost $30, but you can refill them all day. And they gave Universal Studios bunches of ideas, and we did them on like 3D modeling with Tinkercad and 3D printed them out and painted them and brought them to the park on our field trip. But they got like a backhand view of everything that they do at Universal and how everything works. So kids, because high school, they're just, thinking about stuff. So I combine a lot of things into it. So no matter what they do, at least they know how, because they might, like you guys might have an idea for a product or an invention. Like, where do I start? Like, now they do it. See, there we are at Hot Wheels. We got to visit their garage and everything, like the big size cars. And then we designed a bunch of little Hot Wheels things for them. But the kids say, oh, they're going to steal my idea. I'm like, they're not going to steal your idea, guys. You're not that good yet. But it's just fun. They get to see all that kind of stuff. So
that's awesome.
I love it. They get exposed to everything. And this is all like 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grader stuff.
Wow. Can you walk us through what it's like, to have a group of kids design something? How do you set up the premise or challenges and timeline, and then how do you work it out where somebody gives feedback?
All right, that's a good question. So I look at it as my classes are like herding cats, right? You know what high schoolers are like. So it's like a little bit like herding cats. But what I do is I talk a little bit like I'm talking to you guys. Like, okay, guys, we are going to design a toy, and it's going to be for Mattel, and we're going to take a field trip to Mattel. And they're like, what? And I go, you remember all those toys you grew up with and stuff? Yeah. Well, now we're going to actually design something for them. And I know some people there that we're going to present to. So we either have a specific task that Mattel's asked us to do, or they said, just keep it open. So I said, you could design a boy or girl toy or generic toy. It could be for an infant preschooler, adult teenager, or maybe even adult kind of board game thing. But we understand that you are just high schoolers. And the biggest challenge I have with high schoolers is how rote learning is all set up. Like, here's your assignment, turn it in. Here's your assignment, turn it in. So I said, I want you to take a week and think really hard and research. That's what your phones are for. What makes a good preschool teenager toy? Pick one toy. Like, I'm going to do a vehicle or an action figure or a board game. And then start playing it out. And you guys can work either individually or in groups. And then let's see what you guys have. And it usually turns out being groups. And then they say, oh, here's the idea for our board game. And then I go, all right. And we usually have about 4 or 5 weeks to do this. And I say, okay, what is the name going to be? What's the playability for? How does the game work? Is there anything else like that on the market? What's kind of fun about it? Da, 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 da. And they design it. They do graphics for it. They build the prototypes, 3D print out the pieces, make the board game, play it, retest it, repless it, test it. And then we go on our field trip. I mean, this is a short version. They present it just like it was like an Inventor submission thing, but we already signed forms and Mattel can't take this and da 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 da. Plus, I know them pretty well, and if they did it, they'd be in trouble. So then they present it, and then they say, "Oh, this is a good idea here, but you're missing a little this, or have you thought of that, or da da." So even though they are teenagers, they're not. Their brains still haven't completely solidified yet. They're getting real world working experience of how it's like to come up with ideas, build them, make them, and present them. So it works out good. So I'm sort of taking a little bit of what I learned in college, what I taught in college, a little bit of everything and watering it down for the high schoolers. And then another example would be we go to Santa Barbara Zoo. They have to take an existing footprint of an animal habitat there at the zoo. They can't change the footprint, size, or shape, or location, because that's planned accordingly depending on the species. But then they have to research basically what the animal is, what does it eat, what is it, what climate does it have, what kind of viewing information is needed. Is it going to be, is it an endangered species? Is there any information that you have to give to the viewer? And then basically design that animal habitat. And then we go to the theme, to the zoo, and we present to the park board. And then the park says, oh, yeah, no, signage or this or that. So again, they get a lot of really cool things like that. But a lot of times, like this boat here that you're seeing on the screen.
Yeah, what's this?
We just said our physics department makes like cardboard boats every year, and we just watch it sink. So I'm like, what the heck is that? Let's make a real boat that's solar powered. And the kids are like, yeah. And they go, how do you do that? I go, I don't know. So we just figured it out together, and we made a boat. It's a one-man boat. You only could be about maybe 6'2", maybe 180 pounds. But it works out pretty well. And then we take it in the pool. So it's pretty nice. But kids will come up with ideas of projects, and sometimes we make them, like the Guinness World Record. We just came out like, oh, we should do a Guinness World Record.
Oh, yeah. What's the deal with this? Let me find it. The charcuterie board?
Yeah. So I was at a Harbor Freight Tools for School convention, and they're going, what ideas could you come up with for kids? And I'm just like shooting out to the stars, right? So I think Guinness World Record maybe? And I go, what kind of things would be a Guinness World Record for a wood shop? And so the longest cutting board or charcuterie board in the world came up, and I'm like, And I asked the kids, and they go, yeah, we could do it. So at the same time, our wood bleachers from our 65-year-old high school were being torn down. So there's the wood. We had like over a mile of wood. So we took those boards, planed them down, resurfaced them. We found out what the longest board was, and we then started making it. But the hardest part was not making the board. It was
The food.
it was the food and the logistics. So you think, oh, I'll just make the board and I got the record. No. So Guinness, is not a US based company. It's based in London, England. So everything is in euros or pounds or meters. So we're the only one with the imperial system. I think one other country has that, but whatever. So we made the board and we had to make sure it stayed together. We had to make sure it broke the record. But here's the logistics part in a 30-second commercial. So we had to cover every single inch of the board with 3 different types of meats, 4 different types of cheeses, fruits, vegetables, jams, jellies, crackers, anything goes on a charcuterie board. It had to cover every inch. Not only did the food have to be there, it could not be open in the air. It actually had to be covered by a tent. No one could touch the food except for the food care workers that had to be food safe workers that were, basically certified by the state. The food safe workers.
That's it?
There's still, I still got 10 seconds. They had to be certified by the state, and they could not be from our high school because that would be cheating. So we had to then partner with another high school that was part of our district who had culinary students, and that's where they are from Pacifica. Then we had to pay $17,500 to use the Guinness name, likeness, get the adjudicator here, fly him here, and house him for 2 days and get roads back and forth. Then we had to make sure no one touched the food, no one could get the food, no birds can poop on it. And then when it ended, we had to give everyone the food in to-go boxes. But everyone ate the food or took it home, so nothing was wasted, and we got the record.
Wow.
And that's just like a little version of it.
What
But-
year was that?
That was just less than a year ago. That was like 10 months ago.
Oh my God.
And then we entered a NASA competition that we'll find out hopefully soon.
Oh, wow.
So it's just, we don't stop. We just keep going.
Yeah, I could see.
But the
is
Guinness
wild.
thing was cool because they said, holy crap. Like, you're spending all this money just to get a piece of paper? I go, yeah. I mean, that's what college is for too, right? Or if you win a Super Bowl or whatever, it's just a trophy or a ring, But you could actually say you're a Guinness World Record holder. But it was fun. It was a fun project. It wasn't too hard. It was just logistically challenging.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. It's pretty amazing. Also, I want to say hi to someone who just jumped in. Noah Hughes, how you doing?
Nice.
Hey, how's it going? Is the mic working?
Yeah,
Cool. I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit, so
been there. Don't worry.
yeah.
So Noah is down in Virginia. He teaches high school, and he brings the kids to a job site, and they build a house. They're building off grid. What are you working on now, Noah?
We build a modular style house at the school that will get transported to its final destination, like on the foundation, in like a year or so. It'll take about a year to build.
Okay, all right, that's pretty cool. And
Yeah.
Peter is just talking about doing product design and product themes and taking on these big challenges with his high school students and hooking them up with industry.
Nice.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like what Noah's stuff is doing, that's awesome. And believe it or not, a lot of businesses, they're open to talk to high school educators or educators because they love that connection or collaboration. Build some of those houses for, I don't know, think of something wild and crazy, like to put them on the moon, and then contact JPL or NASA or other agencies and say, hey, what do you think? And then the worst they're going to do is not answer you or say no. But if you keep digging around enough, you can do something crazy like that.
Yeah. The
So-
truth of the matter is, I'm just really bad at making charcuterie boards. I'm used to building houses, so I had to go
Yeah,
that route.
no worries. That's cool. But yeah, the kids love it because they'll design everything from like video game stuff to skateboards. They'll make tables, chairs, and all that stuff, and charcuterie and cutting boards. But they have a lot of fun. They do a lot of, and I get about 175 kids a year. I would say out of the ones that graduate, maybe 5 or 10 go into product design or architecture. And then, there's other kids they don't know yet. you lose track of them and stuff like that. But I haven't had any kids say, "Oh, this class sucks," or anything like that. They love it because they know all this learning stuff, and it's kind of neat.
That's awesome, man. Hold on, I got some. Yeah. So, Mark's got a question. Go for it.
Mark has a question.
So do you have any idea about around the US how many kind of design oriented shop classes are? Because I know we had like wood shop or plastic shop, but there was no real like product design focus on that.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I had from my school district when they hired me. I don't want to do a traditional wood shop. So what I had to do was I had to rewrite the program from scratch, and I combined a little bit of college and work experience and all that stuff in there. And we do have partnerships with like the Southwest Carpenters, Harbor Freight, and it's basically a blue collar and white collar kind of class. So they learn how to use all the machines and tools safely and effectively and creatively. So they could be a carpenter or they could be a product designer. It's their choice, which at the end of the day should be their choice. And so what happens is then actually I had to propose this class, get it on the board, get on the docket, everything, write the class, and then it was approved by the state. And now in California, 110 schools have now adopted our basically product innovation design class.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Because then it opens up a lot more things, and it's a lot more relevant, because a lot of cities, including Ventura and surrounding areas, a lot of product and development is going on, and there's not as much like, oh, let's build a chair, but we still can build a chair, but it just gives it a little bit more options for the kids, no matter if they're a GPA of a 1 student, skilled trade student, a 4.9 student that wants to go into biomedical. So it's just keep things open for them. So, but yeah, I had to rewrite the whole program. So that was all right. It was a pain in the butt, but it worked out. It worked out. That was a while ago. I've only been doing this about 7 years, but I love it. I'm going to try to do it about another 12 more. But it's basically trying to get the kids really excited about products and the world and everything around them, and that it's like a movie. All those end credits are jobs. You could be a caterer. You could be a cook, you could be a director, you could be an actor, you could be the set designer, whatever, prop designer. There's so many jobs. So I try to expose them to as many things as possible in design as possible. They could be an architect and design a bank, or they could design a theme park.
Yeah. So, this is something that I've been talking to some of the sports teams about. I find that in the high school, they have this kind of unrealistic situation where they teach the kids that it's the bottom of their foot touching the field that judges their success. And I'm like, wait a minute, but if you're good at football but not good enough to play, let's say at the NFL, why can't you be an announcer, a coach, sports medicine, advertising, sales,
Exactly.
The cameras, stuff like that. So that same idea that you're bringing to the product design, that really should be applied to the entire school, I think.
I try. I mean, it's only what people did, but we are, we blast it on social media. We have events, so you can't ignore it. And I agree. If I was an English teacher, I'd have some really good like writers or authors come in and talk to the class. Or visit a publishing house, right? Or in math, have NASA come down, JPL come down, say, see what math does, and make it relevant and stuff like that. But yeah, football, I tell my son, you're not going to play for the Broncos. It is not going to happen. But you could be a water boy. You could be marketing. You could be like a physical trainer. Yeah, it's all the things you could be other than that, Right. So I say to my students, think of what you love, which you're pretty good at, and that you could do for a long period of time. It's like called an ikigai. And if you love movies and you're not an actor, there's so many things you could do into that. So I try to have them dive into that.
Yeah. Now let me ask you a practical question of running these projects. Something I've been doing lately is I'm less of a teacher and I'm more of like a coach. I guess a program manager in a way. And what I do is I get the kid, I pick a kid who will voluntarily become the project manager. So for instance, this off-grid system, I have this one kid, he's the project manager. He gets to pick his team. He gets to pick the kids that are going to do the DC board, the AC board, the design of the architecture. We're doing a food truck. Who's doing the wrap, like the design of the wrap. But it's really up to them to pick their teams. And I'm more of like a coach, and they're making a lot of the decisions. But that's not easy to do. I still have to set up deadlines, and they owe me explanation once a week of like what's actually happening. How do you structure your things? Do you have them work in teams? Does it depend on the kid? Is it a whole class project? Give us some insight into the practicality of running these projects.
No, that's a great question. So I was a YMCA football and basketball coach, and I didn't know anything about coaching, but we won 3 straight years in both. But anyway, it takes collaboration to do anything. So to answer your question, yes, a lot of our projects that are for companies are group projects. And I ask who's going to be a leader of this, and then they have to pick their team and assign out the work. And I am basically just a bystander. You know, I said, oh, you need to understand a little bit more about the project or whatever like that. It's all in the Google Classroom, read it, whatever. And I'm there for help and assistance. But I go, this is how the real world is. Once you get out there, go do the work, you know? And so you can learn and stumble and fall and everything like that. So it's really good. But what I also have built into my classes is that some of my students I'll have for 2 years, some 3, some will be with me all 4 years, not because they fail, but because they want to be there. And what I do is I use the juniors and seniors to become shop mentor managers. So they actually have 2 or 3 in each class. So because I have a class of 36, 37 kids, oh my gosh, I need extra hands and eyes.
Whoa.
So they help teach them, mentor them, help them with projects, keep them safe, extra eyes and ears. And I mean, I'm not sitting in the back couch sleeping. I still walk 4 to 5 miles a day in that shop, but they help out with the kids. Plus it's more of a one-to-one thing with their peers. Cause you're like, oh, you're a high school kid. I'm a high school kid. You know, I'm not very scary, but these kids help out with that. But as for the projects go, they build their teams, win or lose, fail, live or die. It's all on them. But I help them along with that. But I'm more just there to help them out with that. Because at the beginning, I teach them how to safely use all the machines and tools, and I work with them. And then we slowly advance. And as we go through there, and I say, okay, you guys ready? You know, because it's the way it is. And you're not going to fail. It's not like you got fired. You learn things, you know?
Yeah. Do you set up deadlines and milestones?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Otherwise, those kids will just take you for everything you got.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a deadline, they're just going to say, what? I had COVID 3 years ago. I don't need to do that. No, but I'm like, no, they have deadlines. But what I tell them is like, if you miss the deadline, that's fine. But for every day that you miss the deadline, you lose 5 points of your project. So what does that mean? So if you had 100 and you wait 3 weeks, guess what? That 100 is like maybe a 45. Mm-hmm. But if you don't turn it in, it's a 0. And if you have 100 and a 0 and 100, what's your average? And they go, oh crap. And I go, yeah. So you have to work on stuff. And because the real world, you can't just not show up. And if you do, just say goodbye, because life is not fair. It's not supposed to be fair.
Yeah.
So I try to create that work ethic with them as well. And I'm nice to them about it, but I'm like, guys, I tell them to think of high school as like this. And maybe some of you guys know this, maybe you don't. But high school is 4 years of job interviews. You've had 30, 32 different teachers, different jobs. Depending on how you show up, how you do the work, how you behave, your attitude, your grades, all that combined is how you might do in the real world. Now, I understand some kids, high school is not for them. Great. But if they're not going, they're not participating, what can you expect when they get in the real world? They have no basis of like going into anything and doing that. But some will excel, some won't. But I'm trying to show it to that you might not, what you learn in math or English, you might not use in the real world, but you have to learn how to think and use your brain to find out to get information, because you might become a contractor, an electrician, a plumber, a welder. But if you can't even like hunker down and learn that stuff, you know, it's going to be tough.
Mark's got a question. Go for it.
Yeah.
Well, so we were talking, I don't know, a couple weeks ago on one of those things where, because the problem that I had with Art Center was, great education as far as the technical side goes, but there was no kind of budget tracking, cash flow, any kind of management as far as the business side of things goes. So on these projects that you're running the larger scale things, are you emphasizing the economics of what being an independent contractor is?
Yes, a little bit like that. So we'll walk through like the Guinness World Record project. Like, oh, you think you just make the board and you're done. And then as I talked, there's so many things to take advantage of or need to do. So logistics, the costs and everything. And then we talked a little bit about depending on what they want to be for a living, right? Some kids, I'm not going to college because I don't want the debt. I'm like, that is the shortest answer you could possibly give up. And they go, so you're not going to college because of the debt? And they go, yeah. Okay. So what are you going to be? I'm going to be underwater welder. I'm like, you don't think that costs any money? You have to go to school for that and train for that. And you could die from it too, right? Because you drowned or whatever. And it's really hard. And you don't make a lot of money unless you get a lot of work. So it's a great job. It pays a lot if you're good at it and you keep up with that. But here's the thing with skilled trades versus college and everything. Whatever you do, you have to know and want and desire what you want to do. So if you go to college, you should go for a reason. And then you get that education and then you get a job and you keep going for it. If you don't know and you go, oh, I'm going to try these out, that's fine too. But same with skilled trades. Don't just do it because you think it's easy, because it's not. You have to train, work, get up at 4 a.m., go all the way to Pasadena. The next day you got to go to Pomona. Next day you got to go down here. You're hunting for your food. You have no debt, but you're not making much money either. So it's whichever way you want to choose it. But for the projects, like we'll talk about like Six Flags theme parks or Universal when we designed those Harry Potter promo cups. So you designed them, right? So when we were at Universal, they talked about, so let's say we choose 2 of them. Here's how much it's going to cost to produce it. Here's what we're thinking the amount of users will buy it. This is how we're going to promote it. This is how much we have to pay for marketing, sales, distribution, breakage, all that good stuff that goes into that. And it is watered down for the high school students because they're high school students. But they're starting to see, oh, you don't just come up with an idea and you stick it on the shelves and you're a millionaire. So we talk also about, like, let's say you invent a product, right? I have a pet toy coming out from Petco this year. So it's 3 years old. This is how long the process has been going on. And it's coming out. So, oh, you're going to be a millionaire. I'm like, no. So if anybody ever invents anything, just take this with a grain of salt. You get a percentage of the wholesale cost that it costs the manufacturer to make one part or one piece. So let's say you're selling a barbecue tool. Like I invented a barbecue tool a while ago called the WRANGLER. But let's say it's a toy. It costs the manufacturer $5 to make, but they sell it for $20. And they sell 100,000 units. How much do you think you make of that? So they go, oh, let's see 20 times 100,000. I'll make it like $2 million. No, you get whatever royalty you were promised on that cost of manufactured goods. So for instance, it's going to be 2 to 5%, depending if it's on TV or not. So you get 5 to 2% of the $5 per unit. So 5% of $5, you'd be lucky to make 50 cents a piece. So, oh, you're not a millionaire. No, but they took all the risk. But if you do all the inventing by yourself, you're 100 or 300 grand in the debt because you had to make all the molds, tools, manufacturing, logistics, shipping, receiving, marketing, patent protection, legal protection, all that stuff. So when you get a percentage and the company's covering all the hard bases, then it's pretty cool. So we try to go through a lot of that, like staging of a product.
That was a good question from Mark. I agree with him that, I was at Pratt as well, and they didn't really get into manufacturing like you just went through. Like, you got to pay for the molds. You have to take a risk. The product might not sell. There's a percentage. But I remember you say that some of the products that you guys make, you actually do sell. Is that can you walk us through one of those projects?
Yeah, that's where the fight with marketing comes from. So if marketing is good, they see trends, they see the history, they look at the potential sales, they reach out to all the people that are going to be buying this and see if it's a positive thumbs up. Whereas us designers are a little bit more in a vacuum. We're designing these cool, crazy things, but we're not out in the real world seeing everything that marketing's seeing. But if marketing does a really good job, They say, okay, we're coming up with this new toy XYZ. It's really popular because of this, that, and the other thing. We already have the retail channels, the marketing channels, the distribution channels, and the manufacturing channels to get this out quickly, timely, at a great cost. So if we do this at this time, then they go to like product design and we design it. Then they can ship it out and pretty much have a great percentage of like who's gonna, like, if it's gonna make money, like who's gonna win the Super Bowl. So their chances are very calculated. It's not just throwing it up and guessing. So that's usually what happens.
Have you heard of real world scholars where
Yeah.
Okay. Have you guys used that or something similar where you keep the account and people can actually buy stuff off the website for directly from your students? I mean, not from them, but from the class.
Yeah. No, that's a great thing. Yeah, I tried World Scholars. I found out it from Harbor Freight Tools for Schools. Great program, and it's set up as like a website where you put up like 5 or 6 things that you could sell internationally, nationally, whatever. But what we did is we already were sort of in a mode where we have a woodshop store, and we actually develop products already. And it's through our ASB. And what we found is through Real World Scholars or a website-based thing. Once you make it, there's only 4 or 5 items that really you can buy from. And we found out that usually our items are made to order. And a lot of the people wouldn't visit the website, or the ones that did were already in the area. So what we did was we just kept our woodshop store at the school. And every year, like at holidays, Christmas, graduation, Mother's Day, Father's Day, we post, here's what we make, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And they contact us. We make it. I put a student in charge of that whole manufacturing process. We then make it, take a picture of it, say it's ready to pick up. Then that person comes to the school, picks it up, pays, and it goes back to our program. So to date, we've probably made over $50,000. Over the last 7 years, we've made probably over 300 products, cutting boards, tables, chairs, charcuterie, and then people will come up with their own ideas of what to make, and then we'll make it or say, yes, we can, or no, we can't. But this way, it keeps it local, it keeps it in the store. You don't have to ship anything. All the money stays ours. It doesn't go anywhere. No one can touch it. And the kids are always a part of that. And the community just hovers right around that. And like every holiday season, probably over 100 products we make. And that's like their project. So I said, you guys as kids could do this too, using social media marketing, say, hey, I make this or that and the other thing. So a couple of students started making like their little surfboard keychains or whatever out of wood, and they're making $300 to $500 every other week.
Wow.
And we have a laser machine, all that stuff, 3D printing, but it's great. Real World Scholars will take you to that level. But just remember that it's an online platform. No one will know you exist unless they see that website. But social media, it goes viral. And while you're sleeping, it's just spinning. So it works out really good just keeping local for us anyway. But we've been doing our woodshop store for about 7 years. It's amazing. It's going great.
Where is the woodshop store? Could you put it in the chat? Maybe I could pull it up.
It would be, yes, let me go this really fast. So I'll show you some of the things we've made.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So there isn't a site itself, but I'll show you this.
Sure.
So I pretty much sent a collage out of.
I'll just kind of, I think it's such a cool thing what you're doing. Couple more things I wanted to ask you is after we get through your woodshop website, I want to ask you about the Harbor Freight Award. And then we're also going to talk about, so what are the materials, don't answer yet, but some of the materials that you use. Is it a lot of 3D printing? Is it mostly wood shop? Is it a combination? Is it plastics? Is it metal? Do you do sheet metal, welding, stuff like that? I think those are some of the things. And let's get into your wood shop here. Oh, I see. It's on Coral Flow.
Okay. There you go. Coral Flow. There you go. So we make pretty much we don't do any welding because we don't want to do any welding near wood or dust. But we'll make everything from wood to 3D prints to painting sculpting. Some people are doing things in their backyard, all kinds of things. But a lot of these things, would sell online for hundreds of dollars, and we're doing it at a fraction of the cost. But all kinds of crazy things that we're using. Basically, we made that huge Japanese tower for a lady's backyard. This was only $500. In real life, that'd be like over a couple thousand. But wood it, stain it, installed it, cemented it, all that good stuff. So we do big projects, small projects. And then, of course, it grew. Once she told everyone, she's on a special Facebook group. We do things for the district. We're the one-stop place for our district to ask for, we need a podium that's light and we can travel with it. And then, boom, there's your podium. And
I have to point out something.
What's that?
That floor
is made out of wood.
Hold on. I have a floor like that.
Those are beautiful.
Yes. Thank you, Mark. Yes. I have never seen anyone else with that kind of floor. Am I right? This is the ends of the 2x4, like 3 inches.
Yeah.
And it's great because it's not hard on your shoes.
It's not.
And it doesn't transfer sound.
Nope. It's
Yeah, you see it in old shop floors.
It is. That's our little shop there. It's a big shop, but
Mark, this is common for old shop floors. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and it's such a beautiful look too, and I think you can see it sometimes in design as a design element, but always really beautiful.
It's awesome. Every once in a while, one comes up. We gotta dig it out and put it back in and settle it in. But I love that floor, and none of the other wood shops have that. And I'm blessed to have that shop.
And is it?
Now, did you guys put in the original, or had that been there?
That's been there since 1965.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I just repainted the lines, put new machines, tools, benches, chairs, all that stuff. But yeah.
That is cool. Nice. Okay, cool. What else you got here? Oh, wow, this is cool.
Yeah, we actually made over 200 of these breadboards for local restaurants.
Oh, no kidding.
So then the other restaurants say, I want mine. We charge $10 per each one. That's $2,000. And then, oh, we need something else. We need something else. We need something else. And then it's word of mouth, it just goes everywhere. So we make as many different projects for people as there are people, and it just goes on crazy like that.
That's cool. Look at this. You got
the kids made a little arcade game. It's fun. They used the parts and did a Raspberry Pi and put it together.
What's with the big key?
Yeah, it's a big key because he got a brand new Chevy and he was giving it to his daughter. And so that was the key that he gave his daughter with the car.
Nice.
And a note on the other side of it. But yeah, little wood toys, all that good stuff. We did this for elementary school, a little abacus.
That's cool.
Cool. Boy Scout projects. And then we had the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts come in, and they all made little picture frames and stuff. We'll do wayfinding signs for the backyard. I mean, just pretty much anything you could think of.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Look at
that. So it's pretty cool. And we'll have high profile people. I don't know if you guys like the Dallas Cowboys, but we have a couple students that actually went to the Cowboys. And so their family said, oh, yeah, we like this or that. We'll make these laserette signs of different places they've been, Lake Arrowhead, Camarillo, wherever, or if they go to Egypt or wherever they go. We do a lot of cornhole games with their favorite teams. We did this for a local middle school, made 40 of these guys. So we're just one-stop machine for millions of things.
Yeah.
I mean, it just non-stop, just keeps going. But it's great. It's never boring. We had a golf competition. We did these for our music production class. Made about 50 of these guys for their headphones. But it's not about the money. It's just about making stuff for others.
So if I click on design, this is okay. And now hold on. Can you explain Coral Flat? This was a Pratt website. This is a way of having it's kind of I guess Etsy for designers in a way, right? Would you be able to explain this?
Sort of. It wasn't a Pratt website. It was maybe created in the early 90s by maybe a couple people who went to Pratt, but basically was a way for all kinds of designers to showcase their work. So what it does is you could be interior designer, interactive designer, product designer, toy designer, furniture designer, whatever designer you are. And you can find jobs, find designers, discover new things, salaries, all that. So it's like an inclusive place for designers. So you can showcase your work, all that good stuff like that. So it's great for jobs, people finding, all that good stuff like that. And I've been using it since the early 90s, and it works for me.
No kidding.
It's
And
free.
oh, there you go. And so you put the students' work on there. And how do people contact you if they want to purchase one of the students' work?
So it won't be from the website. I'll do like a collage of their work, and on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all those, I'll post it, and I'll tag, different schools or districts, and they just retweet, and it just goes crazy. And then I send an email out to the 300 parents, and watch the orders that come on in.
Nice.
Yeah, because it's local. They know who I am. They know that we do it. There's no questions. They can't go to the site and say, "Oh, I want that treasure chest." I mean, they could, but I show them like a thing, and I said, "This is how it works. Tell me what you want. Show me a couple images of what you're thinking about, and then we'll say we can make it or not, and give you a price. And if you say yes, then we'll start making it."
Nice. So I just want to say hi to a couple people that added into the room. We got Andrew. He's a Harbor Freight Award winner as well, and he does metal shop, metal fabrication up here in Rockland County, New York area, kind of close to, I guess, the Nyack or New York State border. We also got Steve Richards in the house, driving his car. And he is a wood shop teacher in New Jersey. I think Madison. I can't remember. And
Masking Ridge. Yep.
Masking Ridge. All right. Okay. And there's Andrew. How you doing? All right. Oh, just got.
Yeah, I just came out of the. I apologize for joining in late. I just came out of the NJTEA New Jersey Tech Teachers site visit for Warren Community College. Who is running a unmanned aerial vehicle, so drone program for training kids to do drone pilots and all the implications of that. Really, really fascinating visit with a bunch of great guys from all over the state.
This is wild. These are the photos you just sent me. Look at these crazy robots. Did they design these or did they buy them?
Oh, dude, you should see. There was a room where we were not allowed to bring our cell phones into. That they showed us all of the commercial drones, underwater drones, agriculture, inspection, like 3D mapping and different drones. And then we got to look at some non-civilian drones, which was the stuff I can't take pictures of, and really, really fascinating stuff.
Wow, that is
see the billboards on 31 all the time.
Yeah, I mean, they are running an amazing program with like 80 students, and it's a 2-year community college. I think they got some grants, and they said they're graduating students out of this program who are starting to make $100K. Because there's such an overwhelming demand for this. So it's really an aha moment in there that, wow. And they said the program is actually half young people and half of it is students that are coming back after career change. And there's job opportunities. There's money in it. It's really amazing what they're doing there.
I think Tim Zabacki said he was there. Did you see him?
Yes, I did. Yep. We were just hanging out.
wow. That is really cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So,
Go ahead.
oh, go ahead. What's that?
No, that's okay.
That was Richard reporting from the field.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was good work. We planned that. He sent me the photos ahead of time. That was pretty good work there.
Yeah.
Richard, the reporter, coming to us live from New Jersey site visit. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I suggest if anybody has the opportunity, at least check out the website for Warren Community College, and they. It's my understanding they go out and visit some local high schools too to promote their program. They will bring the Boston Dynamics robot dog with them as a PR piece and let the students control it with the our radio control and so forth. And then just the different areas that they're getting into and the articulation programs they have with like there's a gentleman there from who's also at Rutgers, and he's in the like ag science program because they're using drones to basically cover fields and study crops and damage with different imaging systems, from thermal imaging to spectral imaging, and they're tied in with Embry-Riddle for kids who want to go for a bachelor's or even a master's degree. And they're full-out pilots. They fly drones out of a shipping container, basically in the field, just like the military flies Predator drones and that sort of thing.
Wow.
And then the super secret stuff they're working on is, it's meant to be deployed. Like they are, they got Haas milling machines in there. And they are re-engineering parts, basically, because there's a problem with the drones that basically all of the stuff is made in China. And with new regulations, the U.S. government doesn't want to use the Chinese-made parts. So they're kind of tasked through government entities with, all right, take this thing apart and figure out how we can make it all in-house, make it repairable, using all non-Chinese parts. And they will pick apart, a drone like, everybody's familiar with DJI drones and things like that. They'll pick apart a drone and say, how can we kind of, make this thing using off-the-shelf parts and 3D printed parts, laser cut, et cetera. All the stuff that we do in our classrooms, they're applying this to, how do we do this for, commercial or non-civilian type application.
Wow. Well, dude,
yeah, really cool stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for talking about that. So, Peter, do you guys get into your students are asking to work on drones at all? Do you guys cover any of this stuff?
Well, I do like that we got a lot of Harbor Freight people here too. That's pretty cool. But we do work with our other departments. So we work with robotics. So we help actually make all the props and stuff that they use for the robotics competitions across the country. So a little bit with drones. We're not doing the drones, but we're helping make props and stuff like that. So really cool stuff, Steve.
Yeah, I haven't done the drones either, but that's a big thing coming up. And those photos I showed, some of the Boston Dynamics stuff, I've actually driven one of the dogs. It's really crazy. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Let's go around the room. Hey, you should talk with Andrew. Andrew, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Yeah, good. Have you messed around with the drones at all?
No, but the site in Alabama that we went to for the world prelims for welding, they have a whole robotics thing. They do training for like industry.
Okay.
And they had the knockoff of the Boston robotics dog or whatever it was. So they let us play with that. They have some other stuff as well. We don't really get into that. Our cyber class does the drones and stuff like that on our camp.
Okay, that's fair. All right.
Yep.
Well, getting back to the theme tonight about product design in the classroom and using your artistry talents to come up with cool themes and whatnot. Andrew, have you do you know of Peter Wachtel before?
Yeah, I think we've met in Colorado.
Yep. Yeah, we did.
But yeah, so like kind of like what he does, we do like a fundraiser because we're AWS student chapter or whatever. So we're supposed to do a fundraiser for that. And we use our CNC plasma. And similarly, like we don't do anything really online. It's all like social media, word of mouth. around the holiday, and we do like an ornament fundraiser, and we raised, on average, we raised somewhere around $3,000 for our program. And then we do half of it goes to a charity for the holidays. So similar type of stuff. I know I came in late, so I didn't see all of it.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, so we do that type of stuff. So we try and figure out ways to raise money for both our programs and our students that want to go to like skills. And I mean, it just makes sense. We're not a school that does skills for everybody. So you have to sign up and they each pay. And for us, what we use our money for like the holiday ornament fundraiser is anybody that wants to join can join. So essentially the whole class becomes skills members.
Nice.
So it goes on their resume, and anybody that wants to compete can kind of pursue that pathway without having to worry about financials, because welding's expensive.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So they already have a lot of put out financially when they join the class. So
Yeah.
I try and make everything else kind of seamless. And to do that, you have to design stuff, fix stuff, make stuff, kind of raise funds for the students that way. So, and then it keeps them a good footing. The kid that actually didn't make it to the next round for World Skills, but I was like, what are you doing next? He's like, I'm just going to start my own company. So he took all the skills they learned from my class and some of his jobs that he's had throughout high school, and he's already doing some pretty big jobs around the county. So it's pretty cool.
Now, you know, our guest for tonight, Peter, did you work on SkillsUSA? I think that I saw that in there, right?
Yeah, we did a couple of things, and a little bit like what Andrew was doing. Over the holidays, we do volunteering stuff sometimes, and this is one of the things we put into our SkillsUSA class. I just have my architect students in that, but we made 100 toy wood cars for Mattel's Children's Hospital in LA, and then delivered them to them at no cost. So that was kind of fun. But yeah, we've been a part of SkillsUSA for about 4 or 5 years. We do little things here and there. We haven't been to any national conferences because it's so specialized in what we do. We're not really a building construction trades class, but we have, participated with them on the online essentials, and I've written a few articles that they published online. So that's been pretty cool. But this year we're doing a couple more little things that hopefully will be a bigger impact to the kids. But I have about 90 members in SkillsUSA this year, so it's pretty cool.
Now forgive me. I'm not 100. I don't know that much about SkillsUSA. What are some of the things you guys can do with that?
So it's sort of like an online educational platform for teachers that are in the skilled trades or teaching skilled trades. And basically it's an online analog of a lot of different things that students can learn leadership and different kinds of responsibilities as it relates to like jobs and careers. They have online content that they can learn and do, and then get different kinds of recognition along the way. And then they could even go to like state and national and different kinds of competitions to win awards, win red jackets. But it's sort of like a really cool online platform for CTE, for skilled trades and people to get together and discuss what's new, what's exciting, and what's going on with their programs, and showcase what their students can do in different kinds of things. It's like an educational community.
Okay, got it. Nice. And I wanted to ask you about a Harbor Freight Award that you got. Can you walk us through your application? What you think was kind of the thing that got you in, and go through that whole thing.
There's a cool story about that. So I just started at Adolfo Camarillo High School, literally that year, and so I sent an email to the local Home Depot, Lowe's, Harbor Freight Tools for Schools, or actually Harbor Freight Tools, and a couple other like local shops. I said, hey, I'm a brand new woodshop teacher. Is there any discounts or anything that you guys could offer us? We're just getting our program started, blah, 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 blah. And nobody wrote back. And I'm like, okay. And then a couple days later, Tay Kang, he's at Harbor Freight Tools for Schools. He wrote back and said, hey, Peter, da, 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 da. Actually, we're just starting this Tools for Schools competition of CTE teachers, blah, 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 blah. Can we come out and visit you guys? And I go, okay. And I'm like, that's cool. And he said, what? And it basically snowballed in a couple things. So we'd like to come out there and actually use your wood shop to shoot the first promotion of our Harbor Freight Tools for Schools
No way.
Teachers Award thing. And I'm like, what? So he said, what do you got there? And they came to visit and they saw what they had. And he said, okay, well, let's get a bunch of stuff from Harbor Freight. So you pick what you need. And so they gave us like $4,000 worth of stuff for free just for the photo shoot. And they came in there used by students to take pictures of kids using the machines, Harbor Freight Tool, da-da-da-da. And so for the 2017 Harbor Freight Tool for Schools, the competition for teachers was all shot in our wood shop for the promo of it. And then he said, you know, Peter, you could apply for this after you've already taught for a year. And I said, okay, I'll remember that. And I'm like, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Because like your first year, you just like got all these things going on. So the next year it came out and I saw the pictures from our wood shop. I'm like, that's pretty darn cool. So I said, let me give it a shot. So I applied. I'm like, yeah, okay. That lots of questions, and like really in-depth questions you had to answer. So I did okay. And I got like to the second round, but I didn't win. And then the next year, same thing. I tried really hard, like really started pushing my program, you know, Universal, all this stuff, Six Flags, Santa Barbara Zoo, and got to like the finals round and nope, didn't win. Like, that's it. Now I'm mad. So I don't give up. I usually get better. So then the third year, basically I did a bunch of crazy stuff, really focused on that, you know, the submission. And then we won the second place 50,000 prize, which was pretty awesome. And I told Kay, I'm going to keep applying until I win. So he said, I know you will. So that's probably why he did that. But that was amazing because then, you know, I got to be a part of all these other teachers. We get to visit each year. Like we were in Colorado, like when Andrew, I met him, and we've been in LA once. And I think we did it online during COVID, and we're going back to LA this year, but we get to talk about what we do. There's probably about 30 to 50 teachers that show up. We share things and we keep in touch all year round. It's just amazing. It's like really cool. And I thought of the skills or this Harbor Freight Tools for Schools as like a starting point. Like, look what we can do with this, and then let's keep going. So then we went on to Guinness and ACTE and SkillsUSA and just keep growing and making more awareness for, you know, our projects and stuff like that. So it really helped start everything for us. Yeah, there's Tay over there, and that was really cool. But yeah, I got to meet all these really great teachers and stuff and get to learn stuff. So great experience, and I'm glad to be a part of their family.
That's so cool. Now, there's the second part of the prize, which now wait, I should also say that I have I know about it, and we talk about it on the Shopcast podcast, and we've had Tay Kang as a guest several times to launch the program. And we, you know, it's a great thing, but then I was always like, I'll apply next year or whatever. Barbercheck actually applied and he got in, and that was amazing. Yeah. And then he met all these people and he was like, Ron, you really should apply. And I was like, you know, whatever. And so then I finally was like, what convinced me was the second part of the prize, which is that you get to be part of the group and you go out to these think tank sessions. And then I applied and I actually got to be a finalist, which was very exciting, but I didn't win yet, but I'm going to apply again, obviously.
Yeah, you can't half-ass it. You got to really like,
it's work.
It's work. It took me 2 months to fill that sucker out.
Dude, let me tell you, it was down to the minute.
Yeah.
It was no joke. Andrew warned me.
Third time's a charm. One guy won after 5 times a try.
Wow.
So,
Andrew warned me. He told me you really got to work at this.
You do?
And then so did Barbercheck. He warned me as well. And I really took their advice, and I like blocked out time in my schedule. But here's the thing. I don't want to scare anybody off doing it. It's valuable because you should answer these questions about your teaching career. Okay. But having said that, what I'm really interested in is the think tank parties. Can you describe what one of those is like?
Oh, like lots of drinking and partying and no, just kidding. No, it's cool. I mean, Tay's there, Danny's there, everybody's there. It's usually a really nice location. And they have daily activities set up, like time to eat and just talk to each other. Then they have work study programs and stuff where we get together and we have to solve problems, talk and communicate, collaborate, join different teams, listen to the new winners, come up with ideas, a lot of product development stuff. You get a little certificate like that. They have guest speakers come in. It's just amazing because you're with a group of people. Some are in your program, some aren't. So you got every kind of skill trades teacher that there is there. And it's just amazing. So you can't be part of the club unless you win. So we can't tell you any more than that, or we'd have to kill you. I'm just kidding. But it's amazing. It is. It's truly amazing. And it keeps growing. It started with like 7, and then it's over 100 something 50. So it just keeps growing and growing. And you can't win twice. So there's that. But it's good because you have people you can reach out to, like Barbacek and stuff all the time. It's nice. And then you keep tabs on each other and you sort of push each other to do what else you can do in your classroom. Like I did Guinness last year, and then we did NASA this year, and then what are we gonna do next year? So it keeps pushing you to keep doing it instead of just the status quo. But it's a great group of educators to keep growing.
So
yeah, and one of the things
Andrew.
is like they usually on location they'll go to a couple different schools where there's winners, which is like really valuable because like I know everybody thinks that they're doing a lot, and it's just like eye-opening to see like a different trade doing what they're doing and how you could kind of adapt that to like your craft or your trade. And you're just like, oh, that could definitely work for my crew. So like, let me think about how I just need to tweak it a little bit and make it work for my class. And then you're bettering your class, which you would have never thought about because, if you don't know, you don't know. Like whatever you don't know, you can't learn.
Even tonight, I'm listening to Peter talk about themes, and we do a lot of prototypes and skills, but I haven't really thought about like a theme. I got very dry into engineering and skills, but I really didn't. I should probably bring back some of that Pratt artistry and get into the themes. I really think that's a great idea.
Love that stuff. They do. And like Andrew was saying, it's like when you visit other shops, like we might visit Adolfo Camarillo this summer. I don't know yet, but you get to see how they set up their shops and everything. But whatever you guys teach, you might think it's the most important thing in the world, and some of your kids don't really give a damn what you're teaching. They don't. You got to remember that. And you might think it's the best job in the world, but you have to make it fun. You got to make it fun. You got to make it so that you're learning, you're having fun, it's enjoyable. They can see themselves doing it. It's one thing to push skill trades, like, oh, I got to know this. But you're not saving the world. You got to mix it up. Like you're saying, Ron, like have it fun, have the technical, have a little of everything. Because at the end of the day, the kids decide what they're going to do. It's just cool. But yeah, definitely put the fun into it.
Well,
sure.
I'm with you about lighting the fire. It's not about filling a bucket like, oh, the checkbox, they did the thing, checkbox. But if you light the fire, I'll go over here to Duke. He does this great thing where he says, well, you just expose the kids to some different types of materials and techniques, and then they get excited. Duke, you want to speak about that just a little bit?
Yeah, like I can't be an expert on all these fields, but like, same thing with these drones. Like we had the drones in school. I have my pilot license just because I wanted to teach the kids through the process, but I'm never going to fly a drone, for any type of compensation. But if the kids see that and there's that Warren County Community College right down the road, the exposure that I given to them, they can take it and, take a career with it. Like same thing with that Raspberry Pi video game. Like I have no clue. I have a bare minimum on Arduino Raspberry Pi, but my kids did the same thing. Middle school kids. Yeah. Like it's stuff that I exposed them to. Like you just got to be one step ahead of the kids, but eventually you want them to take that information and go with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Nice. Now, can we jump over to, you mentioned NASA. What project are you doing with them?
So I wanted to do something for NASA, and I came with the idea during that Harbor Freight Tools for Schools conference. And so I just started searching like NASA competition, space missions competition, because my superintendent said, you know, you just got to raise the roof. And I said, what happened if I just take the roof off? And then you got space, right? I know it's kind of corny, but
I like it. I like it.
so I found Your Place in Space Challenge that was sponsored by NASA and JPL. And I'm just waiting to hear feedback. But basically what students had to do in groups, individual, whatever, is design items, artifacts, ways of living to make space traveling easier. And to basically, there it is. An example would be like, you know, those car vacuums you use in your car to vacuum? That was invented for space. And so we went through all that stuff, all the information, and we came up with probably 60, 65 ideas to make space travel better in space or make exploration easier, more fun, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's for food, water. And we played with things like, do you know that in space, water instantly freezes? However, if you had water that's inside your capsule and then threw it outside, it would evaporate because the amount of heat and cold that's in space would evaporate it within a second.
Yep.
So you can't really make ice in space unless somehow you get it there. But so we came up with a lot of different ideas. We had to write like, who is it for? Why is it for? All the details, video it, make little prototypes, 3D printed, do Tinkercad kind of drawings, put in a really cool presentation and a video. And there it goes. And now we're just waiting to hear back if we win. This is basically early 2024. So each or every other day I look, I'm like, it's early 2024. Let's go. You know, so we'll win or we won't. If we win, we get, I think, $5,000. We get to go to JPL, zero gravity room. We get cool, like, we get to have whatever they pick made and send into space for 30 days on a live feed. So the kids are like, crap, we just did something that we put into space. So that's another thing. And it took about a month worth of work for the students, but they're still alive, you know. And if it works out and we win, boom, they love it. So yeah, but it's just fun.
Is this now? Okay, forgive me. You designed something and sent it to them, or you just applied?
We applied and we made 65 different things that could aid space travel.
Oh, wow.
And we designed them three-dimensionally in like an AutoCAD, Tinkercad 3D environment, as well as 3D printed them, made presentations, and set them in a big deck to them.
Whoa, interesting.
There's a video somewhere around there in cyberspace, but you won't see it anywhere on there because you have to, you know.
Yeah.
But
what about have you heard of CubeSats?
No. What is that?
CubeSat is a very small satellite that you can get sent up into orbit to run an experiment.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Very engineering based, not so much like user friendly type of thing. But you know, these are some things that they're like nano satellites that get sent up.
This is something sort of like that, where if one of my students' projects are picked, like growing, do you know, like growing plants in space? So do you know that plants will grow with zero gravity as long as there's water, food, and sunlight? So they'll grow sidewards, upside down. It doesn't matter to a plant. It doesn't know what gravity is. So like if one of those things are picked, we're going to make it. We're going to send it into space. They're going to test it for a 30-day live feed and send it back to us with results.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
There is a couple companies and educational platforms that will do way more, but they want $25,000. And I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
This was free. So
yeah, good idea. That's pretty cool.
$25,000. It's like after Guinness, I'm like, I'm good. No.
Wow.
But yeah, it's really cool. It's just getting their heads out of like, oh, dang, you know, that could be in space.
Wow. So cool. Well, man, you are such an inspiration. I think this is such great stuff. I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface of your program and what you could do. What a cool idea, though. I think something I caught when you were talking about when the Harbor Freight winners getting together is like, imagine if someone else, let's say you show them what you've been doing, and then you show them the facility and they see what you have on paper or web or whatever. And then another teacher looks at it and goes, yeah, but you could also do this, you know, what an idea, you know, so we have a certain amount of tools here, and I might not be thinking of everything we can do. Not that you're trying to put more on your plate, but you might give me another idea, you know?
I am actually. There's one Harbor Freight teacher, or the other one of the teachers that we sort of compete against each other. And he does this and I do that. Because he tried for Guinness and he didn't get it. And I went for Guinness and I got it. So I'm like, ha ha. And then he started his doctorate in education, because one thing that comes up is CTE teachers want this and that and the other thing for their kids, but they're having a hard time, you know, talking to the masses of educators and superintendents and all that. So this guy started his doctorate in education. I'm like, you know what? So am I. So then when you, at the end of it, if you have an EDD or a doctorate in education, then when you talk to the superintendent, school board, whatever, you have more credibility to what you have to say about the skilled trades. So if you can't beat them, join them and then beat them.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
A little push for each other, the teachers. It works pretty good.
I know that's kind of in Andrew's ballpark. He's got high level education, and he's like, nah, I just want to weld stuff. No, I'm summarizing. I know that Andrew went for, you know, like your traditional college route, but then shifted gears, and he's just killing it with all the welding. And so that's great, because you could probably speak both languages. Am I speaking for you? Is this kind of that's basically you, right, Andrew?
Yeah, kind of. People look at me funny when I tell them I went to Cornell, and I pursued welding. I mean, I pursued welding before Cornell, but you know, I was in the bandwagon of you need to go to college, and I was like, I'll go to the best one I could get into. That's where I landed. Couldn't get a job, but I could get a job welding because I never didn't have a job welding. So that's what I do.
Nice. Very cool. So, okay, let's wrap this one up. I think this is pretty good. Peter, what do you want to see the shop teachers add to their program? If you could speak to all the shop teachers, give us your top 3 things that you wish that all the teachers would add to their program.
I don't know about 3. I would say, you know, no matter what you teach, make sure you love it. Make sure it's part of you. You know, like Andrew with the welding, that's awesome. Just find what you love to do and what you're good at and that you want to share with the students. You know, don't make it all technical. Don't make it about like, I got to save skilled trades. Just make it fun, educational, and interesting to the kids, because they'll love you for it. And they may or may not go in that field, but whether they become welders, carpenters, or astrophysicists, what you teach in that class, mix it up a little bit with fun, because they'll learn little parts and pieces, because you're basically teaching them how to think with their hands, and they'll be able to take it with them wherever they go, whether it's Princeton or Harvard or Cornell, or if they go to become a welder or a carpenter. So make it fun, educational, and interesting for the kids, but you have to love it, like, and own it. And like, that's who you are, like Andrew's doing, you know, so awesome. That's pretty much my advice.
That's awesome. Well, cool. So we'll end the recording here. We'll probably hang out for a couple of minutes, just wrapping it up, and then we got to get going. But Harbor Freight, I'm sorry. I'm so tired. But I, you know, it's great. I love doing this. I'm so happy that, you know, that people participate in the Shop Class podcast. I really appreciate everybody being here. You know, it's a long day for me, but it's worth it. So, you know, Noah's in the house. He's doing great stuff. Noah, you got to send us some updates, man. I want to see the house getting built. That would be cool.
I got to get better on social media and everything.
Just send it. Don't try and make it better.
I'm actually just trying to actually do I just totally forget.
I'll send you a text. Be like, hey, send me a photo. I'll post it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you, Ron, for putting this together for all the teachers and what is it going at 5 years now?
Oh yeah, 5 years, and it's
So
good
next
to-
time you're in California, we gotta hook up and meet.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'll be there this summer, and actually, I said yes to something kind of crazy. I will be in California May 2nd for the Southern California Automotive Teachers Conference. They're asking me to be like kind of a co-host to help keep the party going, and it's going to be wild because it's the first time they always get together, but they've never done an electric vehicle themed event. It's a conference. It's going to be at Madison High School in San Diego, and so it's going to be great because the thing is, I came from the gasoline piston side, but I just always thought electric vehicles just was a cool option, and so I feel bad because a lot of people, they kind of say, "Oh no, electric vehicles," and they get caught up in the politics or the new tech. And I'm just like, well, it's just an option. So it's kind of like electric hot rodding. You know, you put a more powerful motor in a lighter car, and yeah, you have to learn some battery tech, but it's all logical. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if you're welding, you're using electricity anyway. So, you know, and if you're using a 3D printer, that thing's more complicated. You know,
It's fun. 3D printers are fun, but you love what you do. You know, I didn't know anything about 3D printers. Now we got like 10 of them. So
yeah. So I'll be out in California May 2nd for that. I'll tell you guys more about it sooner. And I appreciate Mark Adams in the house. That is so cool. I feel like he's almost like, when are you going to get another motorcycle? I could hear it. I could hear it in my. You know, it's been a while. You know, I actually had to give away my Honda CB550, but
Was
we'll
that
get
the
into
project one?
It was a oh, actually, we do still have a 400 2-cylinder 400 in the closet here. I should pull that one out and restore it. That would be cool.
yeah, I shrunk down my Ducati. There it is.
Oh, there you go. The toy Ducati.
That's where it is.
we all have a question. That's Mark's. Do you have a motorcycle?
I did.
Yeah, that's a new non-shop teacher.
I had a Ducati Monster for 6 years, and
That we got to add that. All right. Well, anyway, Steve Richards gave us the report, on the road report. That was cool. Andrew's in the house. Appreciate that. Peter Molinar. I've been saying Molinar, but wrong. Duke Lazowski, and very cool. And Barbercheck was in the house earlier. He's probably listening mode. He's got new kid in the house, so you know, it's busy stuff. There he is. There he is. Awesome. Thanks for coming in. All right. Well, I'm going to end the recording there. Thanks a lot, Peter, again. And yeah, man, looking forward to seeing you in the future. All right. Shop Class Podcast.